and welcome back to the Prism Podcast. My name is Sydney Lish, but you can call me Sid. After 5 years of mentoring thousands of people as a wellness entrepreneur, I figured it was time to create a one-stop shop for you to find all things business advice, health and wellness, success principles, creating legacy income, tangible tips, motivation, and more. The Prism Podcast captures a full spectrum of all the information you need to actualize your excellence. So let's go. All right, welcome back to the Prism Podcast, everyone. And today is just a quick little productivity hack that I have been using since COVID started. So actually, when COVID started, I realized that I was going to have to figure my stuff out as far as really being productive working from home. And luckily, as a network marketing professional for the 3 years prior to COVID starting, I had been working from home almost solely. However, I think it took it to the next level. There weren't coffee shops open, there weren't co-working spaces open, and so I had to do my research on how to really get productive working from home. And this tip is actually going to work for people who don't work from home. It's really just a productivity hack in general, but I find that if you do work from home, or maybe you are self-employed, you don't have a boss telling you what to do or a schedule that you have to be on, setting your own structure is really helpful. So this little productivity hack, I actually learned it from Brendon Burchard, one of my faves in the wellness space or in the business space. He talks about basically productivity sprint and then taking a rest. And so what he recommends, and this is after polling and studying 2 million people participating with over 2 million data points. And what this study shows is that after 52 minutes, on average, 52 minutes, people start to lose focus. And so what usually happens is people, they sit down, they start doing something, and then after 52 minutes, they get distracted, they go, lay on the couch for a while, and they don't get back into action. And so they're productive for a pretty extended period of time, but then they don't have a system in place to then prolong that productivity throughout the day. And so what he recommends, and what has worked so well for me, is this 52 minutes on, 8 minutes off system. Okay. And so what I like to do is I like to take the hours that I'm working throughout the day, and I'm big on productivity as far as I would rather talk about targets that I'm going to hit rather than minutes I'm going to work. What I like about this system is really the focus is for 52 minutes, what is one thing that I'm focusing on? And so for you, maybe it's prospecting, reaching out to your list. Maybe it is preparing a slide deck for a presentation you're going to do. Maybe it is creating content for the week on social media and just batch creating it. But what you're going to do is you're going to take 52 minutes. And what I like to do is I'm going to ding, ding, ding. I grab my strawberry timer. I'm going to link it below that I got on Amazon.com. It's a cute little strawberry timer. And I set it because what I find is on my phone, if I have the timer on my phone, I keep my phone close to me. And if I'm doing an action that I don't need to be on my phone for, I can see that I get distracted and I grab it and I check the timer. But with this, I can look at it. It's separate from my phone and it ticks. And when I can hear the tick of my timer on my strawberry, it reminds me of what I should be focusing on. It's so great. And so what I do is I set it for 52 minutes and I do one activity. So I'm not bouncing around, jumping from one thing to the next. I am solely focused on one activity that I've pre-identified and set an intention for. And so I set an intention. So for me, maybe it's, working on a speech for this Austin Vision Tour that I have coming up. And so for 52 minutes, I am not getting distracted by email. I am not getting distracted by social media. I know that there's an end time versus just sitting at your desk and working until. That just doesn't work for our monkey minds, right? It doesn't work for our brains. We're going to get distracted. So you give yourself a start and an end point. You set your intention for the 52 minutes. So complete Austin Vision Tour slides and speech. Okay, I have 52 minutes to do it. I get into action. Once my timer dings, I immediately stand up. I either go to the kitchen, I grab some water, maybe I have a snack if it's in the middle of the day. I might even do some yoga, some jumping jacks. I move my body in some way, shape, or form. I might even do some, deep breaths, some like closing of my eyes, recapping what I just did, how it went, what worked, what didn't work. And after about 8 minutes, which is a total of an hour, I get back into it. So I reset my timer. I reset the intention. Okay, did I get that last activity done? Can I move on to the next thing? Do I want to take another 52 minutes and complete the activity? And what I find is this just allows me to have so much more productive hours in my day because I'm not having no endpoint to activities. And I think of this a lot like when you're in school, right? When you're in school, the reason it seems so simple is because when you sit down, you have I believe my classes in high school are about 52 minutes. You sit down, you have a 52-minute class, your bell rings, you get up, you move to your next class, you talk to your friends, you socialize, the bell rings again, you sit down, you set the intention for the next subject. So maybe it's social studies, maybe it's math, maybe it's English, and you're only working on that thing for about 52 minutes. So in that way, the school system really does it right, and they got it right. And our brains, I believe, in the first 18 years of our life that we're in school, really get wired into that behavior. And so if we can replicate and model that into our businesses, we're going to get way more done. We're going to be way more successful in our actions because we're not getting distracted with the emails coming in, the text messages coming in, the DMs coming in, the other activities we need to do on our list. We're just focused on that one thing. So if you want to do this activity over and over and over for 5 hours, you can. Make sure you're taking that full 8 minutes of rest. Even if you don't feel like it, even if you're like, I don't need it, I promise you just taking 8 minutes to even go around the block and walk 1 block around your house, you will feel so much better and so glad for the next 52 minutes so that you can really get in and focus. So I love this activity. I have recommended it to so many friends, especially again at the beginning of like the shutdown. And I got so much feedback from people saying that it was so helpful for them. So I am going to actually get back into doing this really religiously because I find that my productivity is higher. I get so much more done. My brain at the end of the day feels so much better. So highly recommend trying this out. If you do, let me know how it goes for you. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week. Let's go be productive here this week. 52-8 method. Let's go, baby.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Prism podcast episode this week. It means so much that you got to the end of this episode. I want to acknowledge you for tuning in to grow yourself every single week. So if you loved this episode, leave a rating and a review. Please subscribe so that I know that you're loving this content, and I will see you next week. Welcome back to the